everybody. I've got some interesting letters over the last several months that I have given titles to in practicing for writing for a couple of Jerry Springer episodes. Just kidding. But they are Jerry Springerish for sure. So I'm going to read them to you and you tell me where you think I'm going with this conversation. Never cougar your friend's son. Ew. Never marry your cousin's ex-husband. Never talk to your friend's ex anything. Never talk about another dude's woman's body parts. Never flirt with someone your friend likes because they saw them first. These are what we all know as girl and guy codes, right? Well, on this next episode, we're going to take a look at whether or not girl and guy codes even exist, should we be following them, and how to deal with situations that seem to break our moral code. So stay tuned in because this is what's coming up on our next episode on Love Relationships, Real Talk. So one of the more detailed letters that I got from a viewer reads like this. I'm dealing with an issue that I wouldn't even bring up if I didn't absolutely think that my love is the one. We met at the gym where one of my best friends and I take an aerobics class. We have been dating for about 4 months, and we both have professed our love for one another. I'm 36 years old. I've never been married, and I'm ready to settle down and start a family. Don't worry. I'm not putting any pressure on my love this early in the relationship. I have kept my certainty to myself. My love has also been completely honest with me, and he shared that he's still dating other people at this time. I feel like his honesty is very refreshing, and so because of that, I haven't punished him by him telling me this, so I haven't broken things off. The problem is, wait for it, my best friend has also been dating this same man. We've all talked about this problem on a couple of occasions, and she and I, who we've been friends for over 20 years, we won't talk about him to the other until he decides whom he chooses to move forward with. But given the degree in which I've come to care for him, I've been thinking to ask my friend if she feels about him the same way I do. And if she doesn't, would she be willing to stand down for my sake? Wouldn't a true friend do that? Isn't she breaking the girl code somewhere along the lines here? So, the first issue I want to deal with in this situation is whether or not she is breaking the girl code by continuing to see this man. Well, I think that if she's breaking the girl code, so are you. So no, this shit is so convoluted. You guys have managed to work this out somehow so that you're able to coexist in this. At this point, you've broken every rule imaginable. So no, she's not breaking any rules. You just need to proceed as you are. If that's what you want to do, just go for broke and hey, last man standing at this point. And secondly, I would like you to think about the tone that you've been setting for this relationship in the long term, given that he does choose you to move forward with. You are in fact setting a tone that says you're okay with sharing. You're setting the tone that says his feelings and his desires are more important than yours. If you were okay with sharing, it wouldn't matter if your friend continued to see him or not, or there wouldn't be a question of her bowing out for the sake of your friendship. If you were okay with it, I'm feeling like you're not okay with sharing. So based on that premise that you aren't okay with sharing, and based on my observation that you've reached the point in the relationship where you need it to be monogamous, I think it's time that you state your true needs and expectations and then see what he's willing to do with that to keep you in his life. If he stands his ground, which he probably will since he's getting all as much as he wants, then it's not an argument. Don't have a conversation or an argument about this. If he stands his ground, that's his answer. So let's say then you do go forward with the relationship if he chooses to proceed with you. As I mentioned, you've set the tone for fidelity and trust issues because you've already set the tone that these things are negotiable for you, that you are flexible in these areas. This really eliminates any type of commitment that you could possibly have to a list of non-negotiables that I mentioned in another episode. You should check that video out, because if fidelity and monogamy are on your list of non-negotiables, which for most people they are, then you have not set the tone for that commitment being held on your list of non-negotiables. It would be a deal breaker for him, and he would have a point if at some point in time in your relationship, he wanted to either start seeing other people again, or if you have a committed relationship, like a marriage or something, and he decided to start seeing other people again, he would feel that flexibility. He would feel that there's room to do that. And he would be rightly so in thinking that. So I would think about as you proceed in the relationship, strongly and emphatically sharing your list of non-negotiables with your love and making sure that he's in agreement to stand by them as you proceed if you're going to in this relationship. Now let's talk about your girlfriend, because in my view, that's the most important relationship that we should be talking about in this conversation, and these codes that you think that she's supposed to be following. With all things important to you, those things are based on a mental list of priorities. In this case, in regards to the friendship alone, all you have to do is ask yourself one question. And that question is, what is most important to you? Preserving your relationship with your friend of 20 years or trying to get a man? A man that doesn't know what the hell he wants, I might add. Anyway, in preparation for this episode, I was reading about some of the girl and guy codes that we are supposed to be following. And I came to the question for myself is, why should we be following them? Well, to preserve the relationship. That is what's most important to you, right? So in reality, there aren't any codes, I believe. How about we just keep things simple and be considerate of others? Be honest and transparent with people we say we care about. Follow the old adage, treat others the way you want to be treated. If we do these things, we don't put unnecessary strain on important relationships in our lives. I want to reiterate one of the ideals that I mentioned in one of my first episodes, and that is there is no such thing as the one in reference to a potential love. You may meet someone that you feel very strongly for, that you haven't ever felt as intensely as you do about this person ever. That is someone with great potential to live your life with. But when you say that they are the one, it suggests that there is no other for you, that this is it. If this doesn't happen, you're done. It's over. There are no more chances for you. You have to do everything you can to get, catch, keep, hold down this one, because he is the only one for you if we're following along with this concept of the one. Now, when you both come to the decision that you want to spend the rest of your life with each other, then sure, call that person the one. It's fine. It's okay to do that. It's cute. Otherwise, they have the potential for this outcome, but they are not necessarily the only one. Don't put that pressure on them or yourself such that it has to work. Remember, not all relationships that you engage in are going to last. Like, that's a literal thing. We know that, right? But we treat every relationship as if it's the one, or it's the potential for lasting a lifetime. And that's not the case at all. The majority of relationships that we're in are not going to last. And we don't relate to them such that. Remember that the purpose of relationships that don't last are for you to learn and grow as a human being, to heal the past wounds so you can contribute to relationships in a healthy and loving way, not burdened with your unresolved issues. That is the primary function of every relationship we encounter. And most of those relationships are there to teach us just that lesson. And therefore they will come and they will go. And then we will choose one person at some point to walk the journey with us for the long term. And we call those our lifetime relationships. So, with that being said, since you're the one can be found just about anywhere, I suggest that you try not look deeply into the eyes of anyone at the gym, at work, or at church. Because these are places that you really kind of have to go to. You put work into finding these places and trying to maintain your membership in these places. So it's best if you don't engage in any type of relations with people in those environments. Because when it doesn't work out, which most 9 out of 10 of the relationships don't, then you're stuck having to see this person in these places that you frequent most or that you have a commitment to. That makes for drama in your life that you do not need. And so I know that you will do what you're going to do, what you want to do. But as a little precautionary tale, as I always have for you, I dated someone who I went to the gym with, and it started off awesome and great, and then it ended, and it was a mess. I had a stalker on my hands, and I had to leave that gym. I love that gym. So anyway, just saying, do what you're gonna do. I hope this helped. If you are enjoying these conversations, please continue to leave the comments. It keeps the conversation going, and isn't the conversation going so well? And send your letters through email, which I thoroughly enjoy. Read every single one of them, and then try to give you content that is related to your comments and concerns that you share in your email. Thank you for your generosity and your willingness to share your relationship struggles and challenges. Thanks again. See you next time on Love Relationships Real Talk.